All right. Hello, and welcome back to the stream. So today, as according to the stream description, I'm going to try building my first original Golang app, which is a really simple stream countdown timer. Ooh, Ankar, thank you for noting that. The stream quality is not good. I think it's because I have a new internet setup, and it's probably causing issues there. So I'm going to try maybe turning my video off. I actually don't even think that would help. So please tell me if the stream is like audible or not. Stephen G. Pope from LinkedIn says you guys are dope. Thank you very much, Stephen. So yeah, in terms of beverages today, I've got a little mason jar of iced tea here. It's not a very special recipe, except I usually add a little bit more sugar for the iced teas because when food is colder, the taste is not as pronounced. So you need to add a little bit more flavoring. So for this countdown timer, Kamal and Ankar, thank you for noting that I am audible. That is good to hear, so to speak. For this countdown timer, I've been using this website, bigtimer.net, which I really like. But I thought it would be a nice, fun first project to build a really simple timer that will go off exactly at 12 p.m. With Big Timer. It's a good product, but you can only set the length of the timer. You can't set the time that it is supposed to finish counting. So I wanted to build something where I can put in 12 o'clock and it will count down to exactly 12 o'clock. And I think that would be a pretty easy first Golang project, hopefully, to help me get started with the basics of just, an original Golang project. I think that this thing can probably be a single script, but we may see as we proceed on the project what needs to happen in order to make it work correctly. So maybe I'll just start by making a new directory. This is often what I would do for any kind of project. And I think I can just start out with a little Go file. So let's start with, we're going to need a package name. We don't know yet what imports we need, so I'll have to come back to that later. Hello, large data bank. How goes it? Is countdown a good... yeah, I guess I want a main... I probably want a main function. I actually forget how that works in Go, so I'm going to have to look that up. Is it just a main function? So one thing that's a little confusing here is that this is a lowercase main. Does that mean that the main function is actually like a private function? Or is that, can you call it from outside the package? Maybe it is always private. I would think that it's always private because it's a lowercase. And one thing that I don't think that we did so far at all in the book so far was parsing arguments. So that's already a little interesting twist to the project. I'm just going to Google anything I need here. I think once I get better at Golang, perhaps I'll be able to do more of this stuff autonomously just from memory. But for example, I've seen at Cockroach, for example, we don't actually directly use this flag package as far as I know. I believe that we use a library called Cobra or something like that. Curious for the people who tuned in, are you already experienced with Golang or just kind of starting out with the language, or maybe no experience at all? So yeah, all right, let's import the package. And we're going to need to take as an argument the time that the timer is supposed to count down towards, and then we'll need to parse that as a time. I don't know. We haven't done like date time stuff in Golang yet either. So I might have to look how we parse it. Ankar, what languages are you experienced with already? So I doubt that there is a date time flag. It's possible, but I kind of don't think so. We'll see. Ooh, there's a duration. So maybe there actually is one. I'm searching for the words date and time. I actually do think that offline only is pretty. Whenever my internet goes down, I wish that I had offline development set up, but most of the time it's like whatever, just Google everything pretty much. Okay, this is weird. It seems like this Golang thing can take in a duration, but it can't actually take a date time, like an absolute date time. I might be misunderstanding something, but right now my plan would be let's just try it as a string. I see there's a string and a string bar, so I'm going to have to read the documentation to understand the difference between these. And yeah, I mean, I agree with large data bank. I do think that memorization is outdated. So I think learning to work through documentation effectively is a key skill, and hopefully that's something that I'll be able to do here. Because now that I'm like thinking through the project, there's actually a lot more elements that we got to do. We have to get the date, parse it, and then once we parse the date, we'll compare it to the current time, and then we're going to need to build some kind of simple UI. Ankara is experienced with C, Java, and Python. Okay, nice. Yeah, I know more like Rust, Java, and Python, but that's a pretty similar overlap to me. I'm curious what you'll think about Golang compared to those languages. I think there's definitely a lot of interesting overlap. So back to string versus string bar. How are we going to choose which of these we want? The difference here is that the argument P, so this takes a P that's already an existing string. Rather, it's a pointer to an existing string. I don't see any reason why we need this. This one looks a little more powerful, so I think we want to go string. And we need the name of the argument. So it would be like, I could just call it time for now. In the future, we might need to specify like the semantic meaning of the time. A default value. Do I need a default value? What I'm thinking is maybe I don't even want like a flag. Maybe I just want a required argument. And you always have to include it. So yeah, maybe what I don't actually even want, maybe I don't want technically a flag here. Maybe I want just to read the first argument from the shell or from the invocation of the program. So this is basic command line flag parsing. Interesting. I like this go by example website. This is really clear. So what we do, we just do some imports. We do a little, we declare the different flags that we want. And then we just call flag.parse. And that must be somehow magically hooked up to the part of Golang that knows what arguments were passed in by the user. There's also flag.arg to print out the tail. So does this not support positional arguments? Maybe I could actually just call flag.args to get the first positional argument. It feels like I'm using this wrong, though. It feels like it wants me to make everything flag. I'm not sure if that's a kind of like development philosophy or something like that, where like, are they saying that I shouldn't use positional arguments? If anyone happens to know, goes philosophy towards this, let me know. It seems like I'm trying to kind of fight the language, which is like perhaps an indication that I should take a step back and be like, am I trying to do something that Go doesn't want me to do? So on Stack Overflow, how to specify positional arguments with the flag package in Golang. So you call flag.narg, and if that's 0, you print out usage and do an exit. Yeah, that seems good. Yeah, okay, so it doesn't really support positional arguments, but it looks like we can basically whip something up by using this pattern. So I think I'm going to try this out. But then the issue is I need to make sure that I have a good usage string printing out the like some documentation that you're supposed to put in the time. Obviously, I'll know how to use this, but I'm just trying to like follow good practices, and I think it would be nice to explain this effectively. So let's actually, I think we can run this. Oh my God, does it go run? Is that how you do it? Okay, I think that might have been it. Let's do a format too. Undefined OS, yep. So I forgot to import OS as usual. What now? Okay, so that worked. Oh, large data bank, thank you for pointing out that issue with the little graphical element on the screen. I believe that there's a way for me to turn this off. Oh, look at that. It has like the episode number, but I actually don't want that. So I can change the theme. That's a start. Captions. Runux Tree. How's it going? I did have a pretty good week. Maybe a little busy, but overall solid. I don't I don't know how to turn this little graphic off. Uh, um, oops. So maybe I'm just gonna like make my terminal a little bit smaller as a like hack. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Let's make it like go across the whole screen, and then everything is just gonna be like a little bit like shorter. Gotta align it perfectly though. Uh-oh. Gonna switch to the external mouse here because the trackpad's just not giving me enough precision. Oh, there's still a tiny little. Oh no, now you can't see my face though. This didn't work. Because the problem is that the face part, you can't like move it around. I think you can only make the face gigantic or not gigantic. Okay, so maybe we can put this one back down, and then Ron Oxtree says, or Ankar says, maybe just switch it to the right, flip the sides. Whenever I do that, though, my face is going to get in the way of the text. I think I'm just going to shorten my terminal here and figure out how to do that later. That's a bit of, I'm going to say that's stream dead. So let's add this. And this is like timer positional args or something like that. So we learned so far that Golang's flags package doesn't automatically support positional args, but we can kind of hack it together ourselves. So what I want to do now is explain the argument that the user is supposed to pass in. So I Googled Golang flag usage because usage is the name of the string or of the help thing that it prints out. Okay. Wow. This is actually interesting. I would not have expected this. So flag.usage equals, so you actually override the usage function. That's, to me, I find that weird. But let's just go get a second opinion before we do that. Maybe we can look at the official docs and just, I'm going to search for the string usage here. It's in a lot of different places. Another thing we could do is just make it a flag and just say that the flag is required. I kind of think that that might be the better strategy at this point because it really seems like we're having to like fight Go in order to like use positional arguments. Ooh, air help. This is, I think, maybe what we want. So this is the error returned if help is invoked, but there's no flag. No, that's not exactly what we want either. But there's a lot more usages in here. So let's kind of spin through this and see if there's anything. No, I think that it would be better to go with a flag. So let's make it a string flag and just throw an error if the user does not pass it in. Ronox3 says, what's the problem? Sorry, joins late, so missing context. Yeah, so probably some other people recently joined too. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to do something like timer space 12 o'clock. But I think that, and then it will start counting down until we hit 12 o'clock. However, what I think we're going to need to do is something like timer dash dash time 12 o'clock, because I don't think that Golang's flags package wants me to do positional arguments. It seems like I have to kind of like hack around it a little. So if you think there's a good way to do positional arguments, I would definitely try it out, but I also don't mind just making this a named flag. Yeah, it seems like Go wants me to make a named flag. So let's pull up that Go by example and then the flags package. And over here, we'll basically we can just kind of copy this code. Interesting. So the name of the argument is time, and Jeremy from LinkedIn says, do you need to use a flags package for a single arg? Args with prog colon equals os.args, and then args without is os.args. Oh yeah, that would certainly work. I think I want to try to have like a slightly nice UI, even though this software is designed for me to use myself. I'm gonna try and have it like print out a nice error message, for example, if I pass in the wrong args, mainly just as a way to get in the habit. But I think that you're right that we could just do it with os.args. That might be easier. I'm sure that would actually be quite easy. So now I got to look at the arguments of this string function. So the default value, I can just do empty, and the usage, it will be something like countdown to this time. And this returns a pointer to a string. So next we should check that the flag is present. At some point, we might want to pull this out into like a little function that can return an error. Well, I guess I can just try to parse it into a time. I think that would be probably the easiest thing. So I'm going to just Google Golang parse time, and I bet that's going to work. Let's see. I think that difficult, well, no, that's probably not going to be that hard, but I don't want to have to specify the date. I think it should be okay though. So this is a duration. I don't think I want a duration. I probably want something like time parse. Let's pull up just like a nice example. Oh, interesting. Yeah, we need to think a little bit about the time zone here. So I think that for the time zone, we want to go with the current time zone of the system. So it's like if I put in noon, it should count down to noon for me, not something like noon UTC. So I'll call this as like time dot, it's invoked like t and then probably an error. Ronoxbury suggests take the time zone as an arg and default to the current time zone. I think that is a cool idea. I think I would like to build it first defaulting and then add in the time zone arg. I think a time zone arg would be a great idea for a flag because it could be optional. Whereas actually maybe I could like put down some kind of default for the time. What if you don't put in a time, maybe it could default to like the next half hour or the next hour. That might be an interesting way to just have the program behave the right way without much user effort. So now I might need to dereference this or something. And then is the second thing like the format that we're expecting? It kind of looks like it. I don't want to have to enter the time as RFC 3339. That would be a lot. So this first thing is, I guess, the format here. Or they're calling it a layout. I find this this reference time thing really interesting, that they actually pick a time, like an example time. And so you would say like something like 1504, because this is how you would write the reference time in the example format. I think it's it seems really easy to work with, so I think that's pretty fun. Let's check the error. And for now, let's just call like os.exit1. We'll eventually want to make a nice error message, but I don't exactly know how we want to structure the errors. Oops, forgot to import time. Sure. Cannot use time string pointer as type string, right? So as I said before, might need to dereference this string. I think we would do that by hitting it with the star operator. Ooh, time declared but not used. What'd I do? Ooh, that was bad. So I tried to call this variable time, and that probably overwrote the import of time. So it's really like, it's kind of like countdown time. And one thing I want to try here is, can I shadow this variable? I am a fan of variable shadowing in this kind of situation because after I parse this, I probably don't need access to the original variable. Now that I'm saying that, I'm probably wrong actually, because I might want to print an error message with the original variable. I'm going to not shadow this. Countdown time is declared but not used. Okay, so we could just start by printing that out. I'm going to use, I think we want to %s here, and then to pass in countdown. We could definitely, I'm sure the Learning Golang with test book would want us to write unit tests for this, but another way to check the behavior of the program is just to run it. And sometimes that's just easier and faster. Okay, so now I need to somehow specify this flag. I think maybe I'm not sure if this thing. So it looks like I just put in the package and then I can just put in an argument like this, dash dash time, and then I'm going to put in, say, 1 o'clock my time. So flag provided but not defined, dash time. Ooh. So I probably actually need to, I think I forgot to call the thing that parses the flags. I think I need to call flag.parse to make this string pointer. Oh, interesting. So I've got flag.parse above where I define the flag. That's my mistake. Honestly, I do think that it'd be nice if the API prevented me from making that kind of mistake, but also it didn't in this case take that long to figure out what I did wrong. Okay, so the time is that I got back is the year is 0, January 1st, 1 p.m. UTC. All right, I think that that's a good start. So I'm gonna say this is like parse time as the commit message. What we have to do next is we want to convert this to today, and we need to make sure that it's in my time zone. So now I want to look at the parse function and see, ooh, I saw there's a function called parse in location. That could be interesting. When a given offset, given a zone offset or abbreviation, parse tries to match it against the local location. I actually don't know what that is, so I don't know this location thing, so I'm going to open this up. A location maps time instance to the zone in use at that time. I don't totally understand what they mean by that. I want to see if I can get the local location. Yeah, how do I get that? Okay. No time zone means use the system default etc/local time. Oh, I didn't know about this thing. So can I do cat etc local time? Oh, there's a lot of question marks in here. So maybe I wasn't supposed to cat that. Well, it does have this little string est5edt, which actually is, I am in the Eastern time zone. Does anyone have any idea how this etc local time thing works? I've never heard of this before. I guess I never really thought about how, like where is the time zone stored on your machine? So, time.local. That seems like a good potential zone to parse in. So for parse, it seems like it uses UTC by default. Yes, in the absence of a time zone indicator, parse returns a time zone in UTC. So I think that I actually could include the time zone indicator in the argument, but we don't want that. Just to make it easier for the user, we should detect the time zone from the user system. Sir Johnston from Twitch, zdump etc/local time. I have never heard of zdump, so before I run it and Sir Johnston pwns my entire existence, I'm going to type man zdump to make sure that this is a real file that won't cause my computer to catch on fire. So, time zone dumper. All right, Sir Johnston. Nice. The zdump utility prints the current time in each zone name named on the command line. This is fun. Pretty short man page. This might be the shortest man page I've ever seen. So, zdump etc local time. Oh, amazing. So, this prints out the file name, prints out the date time, prints out the time zone, which is EDT, Eastern Daylight Time. I guess that's daylight savings is too confusing. They should get rid of it, I think. I've heard actually conflicting reasons why daylight savings was originally created. I've heard that it was actually to encourage people to shop more after work. I've also heard that it was for agricultural purposes. I don't know if that makes sense though. Sir Janssen, I've usually heard that daylight savings was to save electricity. That's fascinating. So for parse and location, I think we do want to pass in my new idea is pass in the local time. So let's try that. I'm glad that I didn't choose a more difficult first project because I actually think that there's plenty of things that I'm still learning here that I didn't totally count on. Like, I have to learn how time zones work now. Ronak and Fabian think that daylight savings is probably for agricultural purposes. I could see that for sure. So I think it was something like time.local. Is that real? Nope. Go run dot. Ooh. Need a good exit message. Dash time space and then 13 o'clock. Okay. So we're still at this year 0, January 1st, but minus 0456 LMT. What is that? That definitely doesn't make any sense to me. Ronak Street says we should do time.load location local. So I'm definitely, thank you for that suggestion. I do want to do that, but I also am so curious, what is this minus 0456 LMT? Is it, I mean, -5 is really close to my location because I am on the East Coast, but why would it say minus 0456? Is it trying to get it from my, is it trying to get it from my IP location or something? I also don't know what LMT is. What is LMT time? Local mean time. Oh, wow. It actually is doing that. It's trying to get the time according to the sun. So my actual true solar time is, well, so that means I'm almost perfectly near the center of my time zone. But how does this thing know where my computer is? Like, did I tell my yeah, how does a computer know where it is? I'm going to search the time documentation for LMT, Golang LMT. I'm not going to surrender till I figure out what's going on with this weird LMT thing. Ooh, uninitialized time object produce unexpected conversion. Okay. I don't know if this is exactly the right thing that I want. It would return what machine it's being running on. Sir Johnston says, I've read enough of John Skeet's blog to know that storing time is too complicated for my tiny brain. I did have to do a lot of time zone stuff for my previous job because I worked at an air travel startup. So you really have to be careful with time zones for air travel because people want to see, if you're taking off, you have to show every flight with intuitive times, and people are going to be super confused if you show the arrival time in the time zone of the origin airport or something like that. Shep, welcome back. My hair is kind of so long now. Sir Johnston used to work in aviation and learn the NATO alphabet. I love the NATO alphabet. I used to play too many video games as a child, so that's how I learned the NATO alphabet. Yeah, daylight savings is the worst. Okay. Check the time.load location source code. That is okay. That sounds cool. LMT is not a proper time zone. So maybe it is somehow getting the place from my computer. So let's try time.load location and see if that works. Right now I'm kind of thinking is that that this might even have the same issue. I would say this is incredibly mysterious. I've never gotten an LMT time in any other context of programming. So I'm going to call this something like local tz : equals. It's probably not a local tz. It's like a location. And then over here, I'm going to do local location. And let's see if that fixes it. Oops. So time.load location returns two variables. Fine. Yeah. Oh no. Okay, so let's see if we can find out the time.load location source code. I'm going to search for load location here. And I see that there's a second thing called load location from TZ data. So I don't have, I'm not sure if this is what I want. I'm going to try looking at this load location thing. I'm guessing that time.location or time.local is probably powered by this load location. Let's see if we can somehow take a look at the source code. We can't, maybe? I thought that Go did let you jump to the source. Oh well. So let's pull up load location. Can we get the source for that? Why did I think that you could just get the source? Oh, there we go. You have to click on the title of it. Okay. I need to wait, I did pass in local, right? As the name. Yeah, I did pass in local. So local time. But what is local time? So yes, if the name equals local, return local. Okay, that makes sense. So now I have to go back to the local variable and find what that is. Like, how do they populate this? Oh, interesting. Here we go. Local represents the system's local time zone. On Unix systems, local consults the TZ environment variable to find the time zone to use. No TZ means use the system default etc local time. So let me see if I have the TZ environment variable set. I guess I would just do, yeah, I would do like cat TZ, no echo T. Oh my gosh. So that doesn't appear to be set. Fabian asks, does location output in LMT all the time and location based on something like America/New York? That might be it. Yeah. I might have some location defined. I don't want to run the env command in this shell though, because I'm afraid that there will be some kind of like secret info in it. I'm going to pull it up on the other screen. There doesn't appear to be any like location environment variables set. Fabian B says time date cuddle. So time date cuddle, I'm guessing, is that a Unix command? I guess I don't. Do I have it? I can check if I have it. It doesn't look like that binary is on my system. Maybe that's because I'm on Mac OS or something. Okay, so how are we powering the local variable? Try going to, I guess, maybe I need to go to the location type. Oh, no, that gets the location out of a given time, but I actually want to go to the definition of the type location. Janssen says, looks like Max can't control time yet. Yeah. Harris, Time Warp is coming out in iOS 15. I don't actually remember what iOS is the next one. It's not iOS, it's Mac OS. Okay, so type location, great. Maybe we can go to that in the code and see if there's like a var local. Okay, this is good. I think that we are getting closer because we have this location equals local loc. So let's see what local loc is. We create a variable, and it looks like this is a synchronized variable. We haven't learned about this yet. That seems like a pretty advanced concept, but I think the idea is we will make sure to only set the value of local loc once. But where are we? Okay, so there's this thing init local that I think is going to do what we want. Oh, yikes. Okay, so init local is something we're calling like local once dot do of init local, but I don't see that. I don't see that mentioned anywhere. So I'll try like Golang init local to see what's going on with that. Ooh, okay, there we go. Oh, okay, func init local, great. I think it was just probably in the same package, but a different file. So consult $TZ to find the time zone to use. No, that means use the system default etc local time. Great. So it looks like we're trying to get the user share zone info. Oh, but this is only if I pass in a foo. So I want to do the z dump again. See, I think that the z dump actually has the correct time zone for me. So I'm not sure where it's going from the I don't know where it's getting this LMT thing. So the first thing that we do is get the TZ variable. So I think this is just not set. Now, I don't know if this is going to return an error, maybe, or if it's going to return. I could just probably run this myself. I don't know if we're going to hit the OK branch or the TZ branch. And I don't think that we're going to enter this case because TZ is empty. Ah, interesting. So at the very bottom, it will fall back to UTC if it can't get any time information. One thing that I could potentially do actually is print out the name of the location that we get to see if it's the string local or if it's TZ. I'm pretty sure it's going to be this string local. That could help us figure out which branch of this code we're hitting. B says, could you set it to EST in the code rather than letting it read the local time file? Yeah, we could definitely do that. That may be a good solution. EST. Yeah, let's try that and see if that that will work. I'm pretty sure that should work. Right. And do I want to put actually like EDT or something like that? Whoa, Raunak has a go generate zone info equals go root /lib /time go run gen z abers.go output. So this is like a Windows Z thing. Yeah. What file is that at the top of? Oh, this is zone info Unix. So there's like, I guess, a different one for Windows versus Unix, which would make sense. But I'm curious what this thing is. Lib / time / star ****. Zoneinfo.go. Okay, let's see if we can pull that up. Zoneinfo.go. Yes, we got that here. Line 13. Go generate n zoneinfo equals go root / lib / time / zoneinfo zip. I'm curious what is in here. Bertie10 says, hi, I see we are suffering from time zones. I wouldn't say suffering, but there's maybe a little bit of suffering involved. So it says there's no go root / lib / time / zoneinfo.zip, I guess. Oh no, there is one. Ooh, let's try this readme. What's in here? Contains time zone files compiled using the code and data maintained as part of the IANA database. So yeah, I think I know what this thing is. There's like a database of all the different time zones in the world. And like whenever a country updates their time zone laws or whatever, like if they add or remove daylight savings, or even a US state for that matter, then somebody has to go and update the time zone database so that it is accurate. But I think that this is not the problem, because I don't think the problem is with our database of what every time zone does. Rather, I think the problem is, why is it having trouble detecting what time zone my computer is in? Or maybe why is it detecting my time zone in such a weird way? And I would say figuring this out is like way more fun than actually building the timer. So I think this is a good way for me to try and build my skills to understand like Golang internals. One thing that I could do here, I could just copy paste this function into my own code and call it. And maybe that would work. And then I can kind of like mess around with the function. I'll probably need this whole file actually, but that should be fine. Can I have multiple import statements? I bet that I can. Oops. I copied the line numbers, so that's not going to work well. This might be a little rough because I changed the package. So if I'm pulling the code out of the package that it was in, it might not like that. So load location, local loc. Yeah. So I'll need to create a local loc variable. And I forget, I think it's like just a pointer to a location. And this would be something like star location or star time.location, maybe. And then I also need a load location function. So I think what I can do here is just specify that I want to call load location from, I think it's in the time package. I'm guessing we'll need to make a few more edits to make this work. Now refer to unexported name time.load location. Okay, now I'm in trouble. I realize the load location function is private inside of the time package. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get very far with that, because I don't think that I can like access that private function from my own code. So I think this idea of copy pasting the code may not be a viable strategy. That time.load location function is pretty important. I don't know. Ooh, let's check the zone. No, I don't need the zone info environment variable because that's the actual time zone database, which is not quite the questionable part. Okay, this is interesting. Time.load location returns incorrect time zone. This is also, we're looking at some very weird times here. And this person gets something called AMT. I don't know what that is. That might be a real time zone though. Well, so there's Amazon time or Armenian time, and I guess it means both of those things. Sora C10 says time zones are so weird. I mean, there's GMT plus 9.5. That's India, right? I think all of India is GMT plus 9.5. But this is even worse because this is giving us like fractional hours. Sora says you don't need to read the C10 every time, by the way. Fair enough. That'll save me some time on the stream. I knew Amazon big, but is Bezos controlling the time now? I think that Jeff Bezos has earned at least one time zone to himself at this point. He's a very accomplished person. 9.5 was Australia? Maybe. Could be. Could be that there's multiple countries on GMT plus 9.5 or minus 9.5. Ooh, okay. This user, Alberto Donizetti, is actually seeing a really similar issue to me. Just getting completely insane fractional time zones that like don't make any sense. Ah, AL Tree says I was wrong. This is working as intended. Without a year, the default is the year 0000, and we can't really print meaningful time zone / own zone offset info for that year. That makes so much sense because in the year 0, they did use solar time. Wow. That's so smart. I didn't think about that. So the problem is I didn't update the year to be like 2020. And because time zone laws change over time, the time zone logic actually does take the year into account. So this was all completely working as intended. Sora says there are time zones even with plus 13 and plus 14, so they can be on the wrong side of the date line. Yeah, or on the right side of the date line. Yeah. Sir Johnston says it's 2021. I don't know. I think it might be 2020. I would have to check on that. I think it's probably still 2020. Wow. It's almost halfway through the year and I still don't know what year it is. Hopefully I'll get it soon. So what do we have to do? We want to put in local and then we have to update the year. But then my concern is if we update the year after parsing the time, it's going to do something weird. So let's try it and see how it works. Yeah, happy New Year 2016, everyone. This is actually a recorded stream. So I need to I kind of want to yeah, there's an interesting interaction here because I need to somehow fix the time zone or fix the year that before I try and figure out the time zone. Sir Johnston says, when is Skyrim coming out? Yeah. Anytime now. Okay. So let's do V1 of this is just is yeah, how do I set it to the current day? For the time thing, what I want is some set year function. It looks like this thing might be Derpley says, what about constructing current time with, and then it shows star, star, star. I'm not sure. Is Twitch does Twitch think that you're swearing or promoting things? Time.now. Oh, it thought that time.now was a URL. I love that. So it was blanking it out because it thought you were spamming on the stream. That's so annoying. Time.now. So constructing with time.now, and then we can change the hour and minute based on what we parsed. I think that makes sense. Yes. Okay, so we don't need this thing anymore. And we can do something like countdown time equals time dot now. And let me just make sure that this is in my time zone. Oh, interesting. The time returned by time.now contains both wall clock reading and a monotonic clock reading. That's nice. Or do I want time.date? I feel like so this would take in current local time. Yay. Perfect. But now I need to edit this. So Jerpley's suggestion is we put in the current year, month, and day from now, and then the hour and minute from countdown time. I think that's a great suggestion. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's way simpler than whatever thing I was going to try and do. So I'll make an input time variable. And for parse in location, unclear how I could just parse it as if it's a UTC time. It's making me a little nervous. But maybe we can try that. Monoxtree says, how does that work for timers that happen in the next day? Ooh, we're definitely, I guess we could support that by doing a sort of less than comparison, but since I don't usually start a stream at 1 a.m., I'm okay with ignoring that. But I think I should put a comment that it's not designed to work. The time is tomorrow. But I do think that would be a neat thing to experiment with. So now I need to call time.date, and I'm going to pass in the correct. And now I need to get the hour from the input time. Is it min, I guess? I'm not sure. So that's looking okay. And then for seconds and nanoseconds, let's just put 0. And for the location, I could probably get the location from time.now. Okay. This could work. I'm not sure if the input time is going to work, but yeah, let's try it out. Ooh, yikes. So I need to define countdown time. And then this thing is not called min. I guess it's called minute, probably. Interesting that the variable here is called min, but the function is not called min. I feel like I would enjoy it if those were consistent. Yeah, so indeed, this is called minute. Got to remove these unused. Oh yeah, this unused copy pasted code. We'll delete that. And then need to declare countdown time. Let's try this out. Ooh, okay. Okay. I think that we are making some progress here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say that is what we want. Well, Sora says, can it really be this complicated to parse a local time? It feels like we're missing something, but I wouldn't know what. I think the thing that we're doing that is a little weird is that we are only taking we really want to take as input only an hour and a minute. And then we want to fill that into the current local time. And I actually think that the solution here seems pretty reasonable. I also, I'm not too upset about the weird solar time thing, because I do agree that in the year 0, time zones did not exist. So I think it's reasonable to use solar time. I want to say that modern time zones, I think they were I know that in the 1800s, they the British did a lot of work on standardizing times in order to make their railway timetables more legible. But I think at the start, every railway station would actually use its own solar time. So if noon in London might be slightly different than noon in Oxford. Sora, I mean, yeah, I guess how? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just not that offended by this code. I think it's kind of reasonable. I think I should do a git commit though. Fun book about time is called Longitude. I think it's called Longitude. Well, I guess it's kind of about time. You wouldn't think that a book about longitude would be that interesting, but this was about calculating latitude has been historically really easy. But longitude was hard because in order to calculate longitude accurately at sea, you need a accurate chronometer. And so this book is about the struggle to develop a clock that would be accurate while it's on a moving ship. It has a foreword by Neil Armstrong. Nice. I would definitely recommend the. Oh, and of course, yeah, the reason this was so important is because if you don't know your longitude, you might accidentally crash into some rocks. So it makes it a lot safer to navigate if you know your longitude. And that's why I think it's an interesting use for a clock. Have you tried meditation? Paul, word on the street is that you don't like peanuts. I don't dislike peanuts. I just think that they could be a lot more exciting. Like, the problem is peanut butter is so good, but peanuts, like, I mean, come on. They're just not, I think they need more salt and sugar integrated into the peanut. I think there's promise though. Like if you just had a peanut that's made out of peanut butter, that would be the perfect food. And I think that really is the perfect food. The crunch of the peanut, but the delicious flavor of peanut butter. Sora says pocket watch internals are super interesting. Oh man, that's probably a hobby that I don't have time for with my current selection of already too many hobbies. So printline call has possible formatting directive. So that sounds like I did something wrong. Is there another print line that I did? No, it's line 23. So is this, did I do something bad here? I think I must have. Maybe I'm not allowed to, maybe I'm not allowed to pass in, I'm not allowed to format a date as %s. When is my peanut butter pellet business opening? So I actually did want to. I did want to open a peanut butter and jelly sandwich restaurant where the only thing that they serve is like very high end peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I guess the key probably would be really good. You would have maybe you would bake the bread in house or just get it from a reputable bakery. And then, the highest quality peanut butter, the highest quality. I mean, I think a high quality jam can make a big difference. Another thing you could do to up the luxuriousness would be to use other nuts like a combo peanut and macadamia nut butter, or like exotic nuts, Brazil nut butter maybe. I think there's room to innovate in the nut butter space. Maybe combine different nuts into like a Calabrian chili jam. I think that would be amazing. Yeah, can do you do consulting? For reference, this would be in Bow Market in Somerville, which I think is a perfect venue for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich shop. All right. So I'm trying to figure out, I guess I don't have that error anymore. So this %v seems to have fixed this. No. Oh my gosh. That's what the problem is. It's printing the %v as a string literal. Cool. So what I just needed to do is remove that. There's also a lot of different peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that you could have. It could also potentially be a tourist attraction for other countries because people from other countries don't really have peanut butter and jelly. As far as I know, it's mostly an American thing. So maybe we could sell it to like tour groups as a way to consume authentic American culture. And there's also a large variety. Like you could have a more healthy sandwich. You could have packaged ones to go, like a with the crust removed, obviously. Oh, a franchise in like other countries using local nuts and jams. I think that could be very successful. Yeah, we would call it something like schools out to convey like nostalgia for childhood peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Bite-sized assortment of different combinations of jam and butter. I tried it recently and I thought I was about to die because it was so sweet. Yeah, send me an invoice for some sandwiches. PB&J omakase? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forget what omakase is. With small plates? Yeah, like $9 for like a sandwich this big, maybe. I think that would be good margins. Guys, what is omakase? I know I've heard of it, but I don't remember what it is. Omakase is the sushi chef will make a personalized menu for you in the moment based on your feedback. I love that. Okay. Yeah. Oh, congratulations. 100 messages. Wow. Thanks, guys. Yes. Oh, local and seasonal PB&Js. I think there's definitely room there in the Boston area. I mean, you've got strawberries in the summer, but you could do rhubarb, you could do apples. I think there's a lot of great potential for different jam types. Ooh, pumpkin spice. Yeah, pumpkin spice. That would actually be a great way to use fall produce in a PB&J sandwich. You would use the pumpkin as the jam. That's actually a brilliant idea. A Negroni PB&J? Okay, pitch me. What is it Negroni jam? Is that the plan? You could also make a PB&J Negroni though. Oh, pecan butter for fall. Like a pumpkin pecan. Yeah, I'm concerned that some of these are actually good ideas. That's my main worry here. You take a PB&J and you dunk it in a Negroni. It comes as a wet sandwich in a glass. Yeah. Okay, PB&J pizza. Is it like a does it have tomato sauce or is it more like a pizza bianca? Ooh, go by example has a timers thing. So maybe we can just pass in the time that we're counting down towards. Unfortunately, it looks like this is a like counting up timer, but we want a counting down timer. Okay. New timer, and then we make a duration. Oh yeah, I probably can't see whether you're coming like what Twitch you're coming from. I probably can only see like if you're coming from Twitch or YouTube or whatever. So new timer. So we're gonna have to do like some subtraction. I think that's gonna be possible. I'm gonna ignore the sad path for now and just focus on happy path. Oh, maybe what we want to do is like keep running a timer and like print out every second. So we want like maybe like a Golang cron loop. Okay, I did not Google the right thing here for sure. Golang timer loop. I know JavaScript has a thing that will like repeatedly, or I guess rather the browser has a function that will like repeatedly run a function every so often. Keep doing something, okay? So we're setting time.tick. Ah. So I don't totally understand what is the difference between a tick and an after. Oh, no, I don't get that. Oh, I guess this is exactly what we want, huh? All right, copy pasting code from the internet. I mean, maybe we should just rename this stream to copy paste and go. Let's do every 1 second. And we've got a tick. And then rather than doing do something, we can let's just do a print line. And so this isn't incorporating the countdown time. I just want to see if it seems to work. Nice. So that does what we want. Now we need to learn how to subtract durations. PB and go. I mean, how much could you charge for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in San Francisco? Like $15, maybe? A good one, though, obviously. Apparently, $20 for like an avocado sandwich in San Francisco is like normal, I guess. That's like Denmark prices right there. Ooh, yeah, this is good. This is so wait, I think I want this duration dot until. Wow, 20 for an avocado sando. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. Boston is not that much cheaper. It's probably more like maybe 2/3 as expensive. So I probably need to call time.duration.until. This might actually just be what we wanted. Oop, oop. So I guess I want time.until. Okay. This is not as beautiful as I was necessarily thinking. One issue that we've got here is that we don't want the seconds to be printed. So I need to figure out some way to like print a duration in a more pretty way. I bet that's not that hard. I think there must be some way to do it. So I'm going to find the duration docs. Then I'm going to do dot string. Ooh. Nope. Maybe I could set the seconds. Ooh, yeah. I think I probably want this round to the nearest second or something like that. So I want to find somehow like duration dot second. Oh, duration is just an int64? I think I knew that, but I forgot. That's awesome. So now I can probably call dot round or something. And then I need to find like is second a duration. Duration dot seconds. Okay, yeah, we could do that. So we could do like duration dot seconds of, and then 1 second maybe. First says I missed the start. What is the end goal? Great question. The end goal is just to build a stream countdown timer so that I can run the timer before the stream and it will count down until a particular time. So it's mostly just like subtracting durations, but the interesting part turned out to be the time parsing, which I did not think was going to be that interesting. Ronak says maybe truncate so you don't mutate the underlying duration. Oh, there's a truncate? Ooh. So what's the difference between round and truncate? Oh, because it rounds towards 0. Yeah, that seems fine. I think it's just the behavior, unless round is in place. I think that neither of them are going to mutate the underlying duration, but I definitely don't know that. The reason I'm thinking that is because this returns a duration, as does truncate. I'm not sure which one is like more correct. This. Oh yeah, how do I? Maybe I need probably time dot duration dot seconds. Truncate returns the underlying duration unchanged. But round does not return. Oh wait, but that says if m is less than 0, truncate returns d unchanged. Cannot use time dot duration dot seconds as type time dot duration. That's interesting. Oh, okay. So this actually does not take in an argument at all. And actually, oh, I think I have the completely wrong function here. I want to turn, this takes in a duration as the time, or like this has a duration as the receiver. Go's durations can be negative. I wonder if there is a reasonable use case for that. Like, if you wanted to, you could do like an offset of some kind. One thing that I was thinking about is whether my program is going to like crash right when the stream is supposed to start. But if Go supports negative durations, then maybe it won't crash. So I could just do parse duration, and then I can type in 1s. Okay. It can't be the best thing to do. Oh, but a duration is just like an int, right? So I can just like, instead of trying to construct one, I just do something like, I think it's 10 to the 9 is a 1 second in Golang. Ooh, great. This is what I want. So let's try see if it crashes. 1338. Oh, the time before the Unix timestamp. But Go did support the year 0, which is interesting. I think not every time library does support that. Which I think was part of the confusion, because if you only support times after 1970, then you'll never have this weird like time zones had not been invented problem. Ooh, so this is an interesting effect of Go's negative durations, which is that instead of the program crashing, it just prints like increasingly positive numbers. So I could, I guess, just check if this is negative. But overall, I would say I think I'm getting close to like calling it a day on this. Definitely not as a program very complete, but I did learn interesting facts about time zones, which I think is a good outcome. And also some great ideas for PB&J sandwiches. So maybe we can just include is like something like stream starting in. Aurora says, check if the delta t is less than 0 and then print a message. Yeah, I think something like that. You basically pull out this thing as a variable. This time dot until is going to be like a delta, as you suggested. And is this thing literally, it's not an int though. So can I actually check somehow if this is just less than 0? What I don't, oh, I forgot that. Wait, why am I allowed to just pass an int in as the duration? Because I thought that in Golang, when you do this type declaration, I thought that it meant that the type duration is actually not the same type as an int64. It's just like an equivalent type that has the same properties. But let's see if we can check if delta is less than 0. So we can check if it's less than 0. Or if it's greater than 0, and then otherwise something like stream starting soon. Let's just do definitely real soon to instill some extra confidence. Oop, wrong bracket there. So let's set it for, well, I can actually just set it for a time in the past, and it just should say stream starting definitely real soon. It would probably be good to actually only print that out once. So I could do that at the end of the program. And I could have like a, like I could put this as part of the for loop, I think. And then I put like a colon and then delta. This seems like too much logic to have in the for loop. Do I need all three parts of this? I guess I could pull out like a closure to encapsulate this logic. Oh my. Oh, this is a select. I think that's okay though, even though this feels a little strange. I think I might have maybe too many brackets here. Yeah. Oops. Error on line 122. Maybe what I do here, line 27, expected a left bracket. Ooh, it doesn't like whatever I'm trying to do here. Well, time to look up a for loop again. So statement, statement, semicolon, another statement. Does it not want me to like, yeah, why doesn't it want me to do this? Potentially there's like some restrictions on what I'm allowed to put into the for loop, or maybe I had the bracket on the next line. Okay, and now this thing, I don't know why I did that. So I want to do now just a print line of like stream starting soon. So, oops, and I need to put that inside of the function. Oh my gosh, having a lot of trouble with these brackets. So the for loop will terminate here. Fine, that seems good. Oh, but I need to terminate the select as well. Oh no. Yikes. That, yeesh. That may be, okay, finally. So let's try running this now. So I'll set it to 147, which is almost the time. And I also can get rid of this printout at the start. So I got 30 seconds to remove that. That should be enough. Now let's return that. And then we still got 15 seconds. What are we going to do? Maybe improve the docs a little bit. So this should now print out stream starting definitely real soon and exit. Great. I think that this is now a decently feature complete MVP. So I think I'm going to call it a day. I have not yet figured out what I want to do for the next stream. So open to suggestions. What I think I'm kind of interested in is just getting into more advanced features of Golang, or maybe more into performance stuff, because I often feel that I enjoy learning about performance and like more advanced features, especially concurrent programming stuff is pretty neat. I saw that we in the time code there was this thing. I don't know if I still have it up, but there's this thing like sync.once. I guess it's not in this file, but I'd like to learn more about different concurrent programming techniques, or yeah, just like more advanced concurrent programming. So that might be a future direction. Definitely open to ideas though. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in and for all the help with sandwich ideas and Golang suggestions. I'm pretty pleased with the progress that we were able to make on the program and how much I was able to learn about fun and weird time zone stuff. I never really knew how a program gets the local time zone from your computer. So at least now I know how that works on some Unix systems. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you next Friday.